Hey guys, Studios Toe here, and welcome back to the Bagel Nation. Last time we killed the Lost Sinner, and this time we are trucking on ahead and heading down to Huntsman's Copse, or Copes, or however it's pronounced, I'm not really sure. Here you can see Miracle Lady, whatever her face is, pretending to use a miracle when in fact she just has the key to turn this very inefficient door pathway thingy. It's strange to me. Anyway, some rogue water, or rouge water as some might pronounce it. Again, this is post-commentary. I did a couple hours of gameplay footage without talking. I think I was watching Lobush Jr.'s stream. You should watch his stream because he is thoroughly entertaining and very good at Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2. So I keep trucking along through the area. Or keep trucking along. I enter the area for the first time, rather. I guess that makes more sense. Over here, what is his name? He's Darkman. He's Batman. He likes the dark. And yeah, you talk to him a certain number of times, and if you have the right stats, he does stuff for you. I think he's how you trigger Dark Lurker. I actually have not done Dark Lurker yet. I decided to place a sign here and just help people out. Because, you know, I'm just a helpful person. At this point, I'm trying to remember. Actually, I don't think I have yet at this point. I installed the game on an SSD instead of my actual boot drive as a hard drive. I think I talk about this in LiveCom of a later video. But my SSD is actually for the the OS X portion of my computer, which is a Hackintosh. I won't bore you with the details again, or maybe for the first time. But yeah. You can drop down on these weird sounding mushrooms, and down here is Rickard's Rapier, which is quite lovely to have. Just a minute, I'm going to get summoned if I remember properly. Those butterflies, they drop poison moss, and they also poison you with that green particle effecty thing that was up in the air before. And there we go, getting summoned. And here we go. Let's see, what's the right time? That was pretty quick, but I think this is before I put it on an SSD. Does not matter. It's just me being nerding out over this. Zegend here. I guess that's how you would say that. I mentioned before that co-oping uses character names and not Steam names or anything like that. That's a nice change, I think, for some people. Let's perhaps like large YouTubers or streamers play with anonymity online. Although it would disappoint me if I found out I played with someone cool that I enjoyed watching content from and didn't know it. Oh, and you also see I've switched to the Drang-like shield. Did I do that in the last video? I think I did, and just didn't take note of it while recording this commentary. This door is a trap, and I know that even when I do it, so I'm not sure why I did or why I didn't take damage or anything. I think I just got lucky. Co-oping is a very good way, especially if you're new at the game, to learn an area and to help other people out as best you can. I like to co-op with people as much as I can, just to I don't know, to give more than I take. That is it's a very good kind of nugget of philosophy for just real life. You see, I can't kick over the tree because I'm a co-op buddy. I'm a phantom. But give more than you take. It's I think that's probably just the best way to live, is to always try to be giving to others. It is better to give than to receive, of course. So just I mean, it's, I don't know. When I was in high school, my senior year, I did not have a car or anything, and I also didn't want to ride the bus. So I bummed a lot of rides, and of course I would hang out with people after school, and that's what we would do. But I also always felt bad when I had to make people take me home, because even if they wanted to hang out with me, it's like, well, you're wasting your gas, your time, your car on me. So now, as much as I can, I guess karmically or whatever, I give people rides as much as I can, and even when that doesn't even make sense, and I've given people far more rides than that's what I try to do. Just give back as much as I can. I mean, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but you know, I realize I've taken more than I can give, maybe, at least in the short term. But it's just something I try to. I want to, I don't know, something to think about. You see my Phantom here is turning black, and I'm about to disappear from this world. Because of such, my duty is fulfilled, my timer has run out. And here I go running through the level trying to see if I can help kill one more enemy or something. I fail a jumping attack there. I was trying to jump attack, but that's okay. I go back to my own world, and I managed to have not fallen down because I was being summoned before I fell down, so reverted me back to here. I look around and I can't tell where the butterfly is. It's actually over on the other side. Get these items, poison moss, and etc. Cracked red eye orbs. There are no red eye orbs or blue eye orbs in this game. They're all cracked, which is an interesting gameplay choice, that it costs you to invade, but that also means invasions are all technically covenant free, are not dependent on your covenant. Well, the Dragon Eye is, so revise my statement. Up there is the poison moss that I can't get to from the butterfly that fell down. So it's a darn shame. Not really. I'm not torn up about it or anything. Hidden paths, you press A or X or Enter on keyboard, I think. X on a PS3, of course. Not. I don't want someone to waste an Estus flask because of that. Pressing the wrong button with the wrong prompts. One of the surprisingly, because it's a good thing that it's an oversight. What am I trying to say? One of the oversights of this game is that all you have, the on-screen prompts are all Xbox controls, which is fine because that's good and well, except that there are PC gamers who will not won't get that prompt, and it's a minor gripe compared to Dark Souls 1 gripes, but it still would be nice to. Oh, I love the lighting effects of the lightning spears. But I'm sure someone will fix that with a mod, and maybe even it'll get patched in. Because I've played a little bit with keyboard and mouse controls, and they are much improved. It's kind of, well, you know, this game is clearly designed for a controller. And as was the first game, where I actually managed to pull off a parry. Designed for a controller, not for mouse and keyboard. And I don't know if there will ever be a good way to play these games with mouse and keyboard. But I have used the keyboard controls just a little bit to test them out, and they are far more intuitive than they were before. I still think that, I mean, obviously I'm going to be playing with a controller most of the time, unless I'm doing keyboard mouse challenge run, which could be pretty interesting. There, get a parry and a boss in. But, yeah, it's kind of a shame that they don't give the prompts on screen for our controllerless PC brethren. Yeah. Up here's a ladder that takes you to a weird, kind of convoluted series of drops to get back to the main path, and kind of, I don't know how I feel about this stuff. you it's kind of an inefficient level in that there is a lot of backtracking you can and cannot do. And the rest of the cops, or copes, someone tell me how to pronounce that. I skip a lot of, whew, almost fell off there. I see how far that drop is, and I know I need to heal up. Fall damage, if you haven't figured out already, is pretty big in this game. Not sure why I used an Estus flask there and a life gem, when either one would have been sufficient on its own. I took off my armor also because armor increases the fall damage you take your weight. So if you're naked, I left on the essentials in case something came and attacked me. Here I am trying to pick a new armor set. I do kind of like the Drangleic set of armor. Not the best stuff in the world. Because it's heavy. I don't know how it actually... It might be the best stuff in the world, who knows? Not me. And I placed a sign there just because. Because why not? These guys are pretty annoying. These dual swordsmen. And actually, I noticed that I'm getting summoned, and I just leave. That's generally kind of my strategy. Gravenheim summoned me. That nice red hair. I usually am uncreative with my characters and use natural hair colors and natural eye colors. And, I mean, I've gotten some brown eyes that were pretty close to red before, but I don't know. Wonder what that says about me. But don't use my imagination to play in a completely fantastic, as in fantasy, and not as in great, fantastic world. And because I'm a shade, I think at this point I just decide to run through and kill as many enemies as I can. That's generally my MO when I'm co-oping with someone, just help them. This guy hasn't lit his bonfire yet. I come here trying to show it to him. I think he just continues on with the level, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Maybe not. Those trees, I don't know how to feel about them. They're not like a bad thing. It's just like, well, they're used pretty sparingly. It's like, didn't really need them. I guess it's a cool way to have a shortcut that's not just a door that opens from one side and needs a key. Or a drop or anything. I don't know. I guess I talked myself out of disliking the tree mechanic. These guys are big, they hit hard, but they also have favorable hitboxes. As in, you can stand where I am standing right there and roll into them, and they will somehow not hit you. It's kind of weird, the hitboxes in my experience. And there's another one of those up in the trees that I need to try and find, another butterfly. And like here you see me co-oping when the only thing I'm going to get out of it is souls and resetting my stuff, so that's always good. But it goes back to give more than you take, that kind of philosophy that you just I want to give more than I take. You know, it's not going to turn me human because I'm already human, so not to laud me and say I'm a hero, but I mean, I am kind of a hero. I'm the chosen undead. I'm sorry, that's the original game. Skip that item, which I think I skip a decent amount of stuff in this area. There's not that much that interests me, and I think I just kind of run for the boss. So anyway, I cut out a decent amount of stuff there I did some co-oping, I died some frustrating times. I think I cut out, I did some co-oping and then died once and just started running through the area, died some more. That's why I'm hollowed. And I think I couldn't get summoned, which is why I didn't stay human, or I just got tired of waiting for summons to happen to turn me human. So I decided to continue through the area. There's a lever that you pull that pulls down this large bridge contraption, and so that's nice and fine and dandy. And these guys, they're annoying, and I think every time I just could not see that guy for whatever reason. I just ran straight into him as I did there. This is kind of how I prefer to play Dark Souls, though, running past everything. Sometimes blocking hits. Blocking hits isn't quite as useful as it used to be for running through. It used to be that you could, I think specifically of the speed run into the gargoyle area, you would block the first hit of one of the hollows that would attack you. And here you see me weighing my options. And then I just decided to go for the fall all the way down. Life gems are kind of, they make things kind of easier for a lot of things, especially for speed runs or when no bonfire. I don't know, but they're very useful. And here we go for the boss finally. So, skeleton lords. I'm gonna level with you. I know nothing about the lore of this boss. Skeletons. I'm not even really sure of all the mechanics of it, other than that, I think, based on what I've seen, and based on what I experience here, that when you kill the first of the three lords, or any of the lords, they summon more, they summon the small skeletons, though. So I think, and I know that there's a high probability that all of this is incorrect, but I think if you kill all three of them first, you will get a lot more enemies to face. They share a collective health bar. Unfortunately, it's not like the Four Kings, where you can, if you do extra damage to an enemy, they'll just eventually all die. There are a couple bosses like that in this, that share a health bar with multiple enemies. The gargoyles come to mind, which we'll do later. Spoilers, there are gargoyles in this game. This fight, it's not that hard. I imagine it's harder if you're a little less beefy than I am now. I've got a decent amount of health and I've got good damage. I mean, I have died to it several times. Not too much, though. Not as much as I have to, say, Old Iron King trying to do it 4 times. Oh, sorry, I bumped the mic stand there. And I think that's about the closest I get to dying in this fight. That right there. For me, the strategy is just keep moving around, don't let the enemies accumulate too much, and then just pick off whoever happens to get closest to you. It's, you know, I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm just making noises to make noises. Not the hardest fight in the world. The final stage of this fight is the Bone Wheels. The worst enemies of Dark Souls 1. And they make a charming comeback and are not nearly as annoying as they used to be. They don't stun lock you infinitely, and they're fairly manageable. So that's nice. Not a hard fight, really. Can give you a little trouble, but... And you might have seen earlier, you can see the path from outside the boss room of where we exit. So that's an interesting touch. You can see through that window there. So we'll get to the next bonfire, and that'll be the end of this video. This is another one of these weird bridge thingies. They're weird not because they look weird, but they're weird because I'm like, this is very impractical. This is not the smartest design in the world. Of course, I don't even know. It could just be a drawbridge. Hey, if there's water down there, I guess that makes sense for a ship, although this is a very narrow valley for a river. I don't know, who knows? That ladder is broken. You can't climb back up. Fortunately, though, there's a bonfire. Unfortunately, you have to go through poison to get to that bonfire. This here's Chloanne.
I'm Chloe.
She is the blacksmith's daughter, or at least presumably Lenegrast daughter.
I've extras if you can pay.
I've heard some people talk about doubting that, so I assume she is. I buy a bonfire aesthetic there because bonfire aesthetics are awesome. If you exhaust her dialogue, she'll go back to Firelink Shrine. Off in the distance, you can see some windmills, which I think we'll talk about in the next video. I think that should wrap things up. So, if you liked what you saw, feel free to leave a like. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos, feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy your stay in the Bagel Nation. Goodbye.